And welcome back to the Market Day Report. I'm Marlon Bowling with you. Thanks for joining us here on a Friday, the final trading day of the week, and also the final trading day of January already. Where did that month go? My goodness. Well, to help us analyze things, we get some expert help this time around, but we're not going to the phone. We're not going to our live fiber feed to Chicago. We're going right next door, right here.
Right here on the trading floor.
Todd Horwitz, how are you?
Nice to be here.
Good to see you. Todd Horwitz. He's with BubbaTrading.com.
I am.
And always great to talk with Todd on our video link to Chicago, but you happen to be passing through, and I appreciate that.
That's great. It's great to be here. It's exciting.
If you don't mind, we can kind of team up and take a look at the prices.
Absolutely.
What do you think? All right, let's go to the board, and we'll take a look first of all here at our corn market, see what's going on right now. It has been trading firmer so far today. The March is 3 3/4 higher at 369 1/4. May up 3 3/4. New crop December is up 3 3/4. On the soybean side, here we have the March 5 1/2 higher at 873 1/4, and July, for example, 5 1/4 higher at 881 1/2. And we had some export sales numbers that came out this morning. And Todd, I wanted to get your impression of that. Does that really factor in here or not? Because the soybean numbers were not that great, and yet we're going higher anyway.
You know, really, markets really trade more technically than anything else. You know, we already know that news. You know, the only thing that would be is a real surprise that we would have. And so as you look at it, we saw corn come down to 365, which was a low we were looking for. It came in and bounced right off it. But really, the markets themselves are consolidating back and forth in a range right now, and there's no reason to get too excited one way or the other. It just looks to me, and I continue to say, I want to be an owner. Anytime they dip down, I think it's time to step in, because as we've seen time and time again, the big commercials are trying to short it. The markets won't break, and look at today. The dollar is flying to the moon. Japan, Bank of Japan goes to negative interest rates, which makes our dollar stronger because the money flows in the United States dollar. That's where people run for defense, the dollar and the bonds. They're going to the moon, yet our grain markets are higher, which is telling you that we may not go up today, we may not go up tomorrow, but we're poising to make a move. Now, anything changes, maybe we get some bad weather, something happens, you know, we could go much higher, but I think we grind higher for now, and we stay range bound, but range bound to the upside.
And the dollar is higher because of that outside influence.
Right,
it's kind of artificial.
It's always a lot of the stuff that affects our markets here in the grains for the farmers and producers are affected by the outside. You've got too many things happening out here that affect you, because what happens is when the Fed does something ridiculous and they raise rates in the middle of a slowdown, that automatically makes the dollar go higher, which puts pressure on our products. They have no idea that they're creating so much damage. Everybody talks about oil, but what about all the farmers and the producers that have all these products that they have to depend on to get exported out? Our dollar's too strong. It's not good for the export business, but it'll get better.
Todd, we're showing the crude oil market on the screen right now for our viewers at home, and if we can put that back up again, we were over $1 higher earlier. Look at that turnaround today. We have March crude oil now down 35 at 32.87. Is that an ominous signal to you at all?
Well, you know, I think when you want to look at, Marlon, is you had Tuesday, we were $26 in crude, a spot. That was expiring was $26. We rallied. It was an easy call that we're going to rally. You come up to 34, that was a great level. If you look at a chart from a technical basis, that was a great level to look for a little bit of a pullback. I think now 32 may hold the support. Maybe we'll go back to 31, but you're got to be a buyer here. You got to be a buyer of commodities in general, but I think oil is a great play here as well.
I do want to take a quick look at our wheat trade here too. Chicago wheat on the March contract. Right now, at last check on the board, we are trading 2.5 higher at 474 3/4. Kansas City has been higher today too. March is up 2. 466 3/4. Is this wheat rally for real, or is this just a temporary little correction here?
You know, wheat has really been very wild back and forth. Okay, it's been as high as 540. It's been down as low as 460. I want to be an owner. I own wheat out in 16, D's of 16, new crop 16. I think you want to be a buyer. I think there's going to be more of a demand than we think. I think somehow, magically, we'll see some news that will help push us up, and I think overall, you're going to look for higher prices. Anytime we dip down into the 460s, I want to be a buyer.
Excellent. All right. Well, Todd, sit tight. I want to bring you back in the next segment. We'll talk a little livestock market activity, too. Our special guest, Todd Horwitz with BubbaTrading.com. We'll be back in just 1 minute. You don't want to miss this. Welcome back to the Market Day Report. I'm Marlon Bowling with you, joined by our special guest, Todd Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com. He stopped by our Nashville studios to say hi. He's on a trip. Actually, you're heading down to Alabama today, right?
I am. I'm on the campaign trail. Bubba for
You
president.
are.
And for every next I'm 147, I'm wearing my button. But anyways, I'm going to Alabama because I do a lot of financial literacy with high schools and things like that. So I'm heading down there.
All right. It's very interesting stuff and interesting work that you do. Fairly important to educate everybody about the markets. In fact, speaking of the markets, we had a big turnaround take place just in the last few minutes on the cattle trade. Let's go to the board on the live cattle markets here. We have February live cattle back to unchanged. April now down 34 at 134.18 after posting a high of 136.12. Wow, that's almost a $2 turnaround now since the earlier high this morning. What about the feeder cattle trade? Look at this. Here we have March now, all of a sudden $3.12 lower at 156.30 after posting a high of 160.27. That's a $4 turnaround, basically. We have April down 3.30 at 155.65. Todd, I'm glad you're here. What happened here?
Well, I think what you saw is you saw some selling come in. You and I were talking before we came on. I said, look right here. This looks like an area that we're probably going to see some selling pressure. And I didn't expect it to drop $3, but overall, we're at these levels, and I think we still, in feeders, we still need to get down to about 155, and then I think it's time to buy. Again, I've changed my whole position from being bearish when we were up with the tops. We came down to levels. I think those levels are solid. So now, as a short-term trader, you might look for a trade here, but you want to look to be a buyer somewhere probably around 155. Outside chance I can go back below to the 150 area, but I think 155 is good. And on live cattle, 137 was my target to the upside. Now, I'm not getting bearish here, or I'm not looking to sell them. I'm looking for a dip back down to buy them again, because I think we found that bottom when we saw that real gyrating action a couple of weeks ago. I think that was that showed us that the bottom was in place. So now what's going to happen, we're getting this nice slow grind up, and at some point, money takers come in, they take some money at the table, we'll get a little bit of a sell-off, and then we'll see some more buying on the way up, I think.
All right, now, we have that big annual inventory report coming out after the close today. That'll be out at 2 p.m. Central Time, by the way. How much of that do you think could be a factor with this market just all of a sudden just going off the cliff here today?
I think it might be some speculation. This is one of the things, I'm not a big news guy. I think that when you understand that markets have a great way of pricing in ahead of time, and everybody out there right now knows where these things are trading, and they're watching probably too much because, again, we see too much action. But at the end of the day, somebody's probably taking a chance or telling you that the report's going to be bearish, and they're starting to sell them off here. Myself, I think it looked like we're going to sell anyways. We're coming up to resistance. Now we're going to come down to some support. I'm looking for a spot to buy, so it's a little bit softer. I think it'll give us a good opportunity to buy down here.
I want to get your opinion on the hogs to see if you're still friendly here. Let's take a look at the hog market right now and go to the board. Right now, February lean hogs hanging in there. They're 60 higher. April now up $1.02 at 70.72. They're not that far from the high of the day. They had a lower day yesterday. They're on pretty firm footing, aren't they, here?
I think they're in great shape. I think when you look at it, though, is you've got 71 for April and 66 for Feb was my objective on this initial move. When we came from 56 to 60, we churned, and then we popped out. Now, I think you're going to see some selling here. I think there's going to be, and again, I'm not looking to be bearish. I'm not saying that we're going way lower. You want to see some natural selling here. You want a little bit of the profit takers come in to allow some new money to come in and push them higher. I still like them, but I'm not bringing new money to work up in here. I think you're more likely to see some selling pressure before we see another rise.
And of course, we did have a higher trade in the cash hog market, but they're going to have to come together with that spread at some point. Todd, I wish we had more time. Man, it's good to see you.
It's great
Stop
to be
back
here.
anytime.
Are you kidding? I'm moving down here. I love Nashville.
The welcome mat is always out for you. All right, Todd Horwitz with BubbaTrading.com. You want to check that out, and we'll be talking with him on fiber optic links as well from Chicago on an ongoing basis. That's it for this report. And Abby, I'm going to turn it over to you and try and get this herd of cats out the door.
And we have to say, everybody's been so excited to meet Todd. Our viewers appreciate everything that you do for us so much. It's so great to meet you in person, and thanks for visiting us during your travels.
I couldn't think of a better place to be. I'm having a great time. I may not leave. I may just move right in here. I love it. It's a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.